Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering hobo. In my new apartment, my now second apartment in LA, I decided to go into this video raw, with my hair still in its messy. I just biked home from work. Just wanted to give a few reflections on moving and my life. I've been so busy. So I've moved to the west side of or West LA, about 5 miles from Santa Monica. It's awe-inspiring, it's beautiful, it's painful in that everything, any big change, it like reflects so much back at me about what I've been through, what I've seen. And it also sort of puts into relief how I have to go about my daily routine and my habits that are going to help me and keep me buoyant and keep me well. Because a few times this last week, I went into a really, really dark mood, like hating myself, convinced everybody hates me, to where like I'll be like doing something for like 2 hours and forget where I am. And like, oh crap, like I gotta calm down. Like I'm getting so upset at myself. But on the other hand, I now know good techniques to help myself overcome that. Grounding techniques, stuff like, meaning like this, literally, just clasping my hands like this. I discovered this by accident when I had a relapse of depersonalization, derealization a few years ago. And things like that to help me release tension in my body. The amazing thing about it is while I'm doing it, I sometimes, if I'm really like feeling bad, which is not that often lately, but I can slip into it if I'm not vigilant. And then I don't realize how I slipped into it. But the flip side is I don't realize how I end up feeling so much better when it'll sometimes um, come like a few hours after I start progressive muscle relaxation, little grounding techniques like this. It's hard to demonstrate. I wanted to hold the camera in my hand to just save time and get to sleep soon. But one, I'll try and show it, is like, I can only show it on my upper arm, sort of like tap the sides of my arms. And I'll do it with both arms at the same time, sort of like cross my arms. And even that right now it gives me like goosebumps. And that's a release of tension because I believe trauma is stored in the body. That's why I get tense, why I clench my teeth, why I, frown when I don't realize it. Cat's meowing outside my room. He hears me. He wants to get in and join the conversation. I'm growing my hair out too. I wonder what to do with it. Like, if when it keeps growing, do I cut it at some point? Do I style it a certain way? I don't know. Give me your clues. Your clues. This is a mystery to be solved. What to do with my hair? But stuff like that, and also sort of grounding myself back in my body, like literally, like trying to get out from my head where my mind is racing about negative thoughts and just back into my body. Things just thinking about, and like, so I'm not trying to like prove to myself that I'm right, that, oh, I'm a loser. I've, missed out on things. I don't believe in saying I missed out on anything. Things happened the way they needed to happen. They couldn't have happened any other way. And I'm glad they came out the way they did because it made me who I am, and I'm glad about who I am. And I just had to follow a different path than a lot of people. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, first of all, screenwriting is always a struggle for me. I do that every day, and I'm in classes, and they always push me, and I love that about them. And they uplift me so much. But I was homeless for years. It still like stuns me, not stuns me, but it like kind of knocks me back to think about it. And once in a while, if I hear a story about someone homeless or see them, it just hits me so much. Like, man, I know what that's like. Like, not their exact situation, because also I was living in my car. I never slept on the street once, so I just want to make that clear. So I had my own challenges in my own way, and I'm glad for them. They made me more resilient. They made me better at being me. And a lot of other things. I mean, I had depersonalization, derealization for really my whole adult life. Basically, looking back on so much of my adult life now, I realize I was pretty much in a fully dissociated state for like 14 years. 15 years until I realized how to actually treat this and manage it. And once I did, basically cured me. Now I still get little flare-ups of symptoms, like I said, if I'm not vigilant, but I know how to deal with that. And the beauty of it is, in the moment when I'm dealing, like trying to trigger feelings of safety in my body and change my bodily state, I don't feel better in that moment. What'll happen is an hour or two later, the feelings of goodness will rush through me and I'll feel this elation and relief. I'm like, oh, patience, be well. Don't focus on the symptoms. Focus on changing your state, your bodily state, and your mental state, and it will be succeeded by the good feelings, by feeling well. And I got to remember, get up early, push myself. Don't let my body feel like it's in danger by feeling like frozen, meaning I start moving less. I sleep in just a little bit, even a few minutes. I don't eat as well. I basically try and protect myself from these imaginary evils, which I can always succumb to them if I let them, get to me, feeling like people hate me or whatever. But then what's amazing is I'll push myself, I'll go out, whatever. I'm so glad I ride a bike now. I'll see people on the street. Sometimes people say good morning to me or whatever on their bikes. Sometimes they'll ring the bell at me. Sometimes they'll just wave at me. This one girl, I swear today, it was interesting. I was riding down the street. She was standing on the intersection. There was at least one other girl there, a few people. And I had my hand out like this. I wasn't trying to hold it like this, because I realized you can basically you'll either hit a car if there's a car coming away, or a person. It looks like you're trying to high five them or slap them or whatever, which I don't mind high fiving, I guess. But so what I learned is I start putting my hand down like this to signal that I'm turning. So I did this as I'm going by. This girl looks at me and waves at me. I mean, a woman, but she waved at me. I just smiled and rode away. I'm like, oh yeah, it's foolish to hate on myself, because then if something good happens like that, I can't even accept it. And I could accept it in that moment. I was like, because I was feeling better by the afternoon. And that's partly why I wanted to make this video, to push myself, even though I'd like to go to sleep. For the first time in years, I have an actual bed. So in my old apartment, I did have a bed, but it was fold out on the floor. The old building has it now. They've declared it abandoned, I'm sure, and are going to throw it away. It's too bad. It could go to good use. But I slept on the floor, and it's interesting. It's different. Or a fold out bed on the floor. It's so surreal being able to get out of bed and just step down onto the ground as opposed to climb up. Also, that would have made a difference when I fractured my ribs while I was biking and I crashed. I didn't know how to ride with one hand yet, and I crashed. Because getting out of bed when my ribs were fractured was hell. I was like, how do I move? Which way do I move? And if I moved it all the wrong direction, my whole torso was in being struck by lightning. Reading poetry helps. So I forgot to do that, and that's part of a good routine to have. So I have this book of poems, and I can look up poems online, but I like having this book here, and I've highlighted a bunch of the poems that I like. Oh, it's hard to show. That I like. Reading books, reading novels. I want to read Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy next. I have it here, and then the next two books in the Carla trilogy from John le Carré. And go to events and be disciplined. So there's all kinds of events, and I love that there's group bike rides happening all the time around here. I maybe more so in West LA than where I was. I don't know. Maybe I just couldn't find them. And roller skating and rollerblading. I got to get rollerblades this weekend, or I'll try. I don't know if I'll have time, but there's rollerblading events around here that I'm like, these are awesome too. These are different. I felt bad. I didn't talk to many people at the first rollerblading event I went to, and it was partly because I was so focused on remaining upright that I didn't want to lose my concentration by talking to someone and trying to skate. But I'm sure I'll see a lot of the same faces again and talk to people there, and it's just great. It's everybody's got a positive charge when they're rollerblading. Why is it people are so happy when they're biking and rollerblading, but they tend to be so miserable when driving? Some people love driving, and it can be fun, But driving is an isolating, antisocial experience, and it's bad for the environment. It's financially draining our cities. It financially drains us individually, and it kicks money over to greedy corporations that over-engineer these pieces of junk that are poisoning our environments and our bodies. I could go on. Anyways, those are some of my reflections. So I'm going to try and be well. I'm even going to do some push-ups before I go to sleep. Get up super early tomorrow. Also, I got to check with my roommate if it's okay if I hang up some art around here. Look at these blank walls. Santa Monica, they have vendors that sell street art. I love it. That's what I want. I want like art that leaves something for my imagination. That's the best way I can put it. And also there's at least one thrift store around here. I want to go there and see what art they have there. Assuming I can put stuff up. I'm sure I'll be able to. So, who knew this little Virginia boy, this 38-year-old virgin, Virginian boy, you gotta let me finish, wait for the pause, would end up here in LA, live in this, what do I call it, like, adventure, whirlwind, all this wild stuff. Who knew I'd get evicted? Who knew I'd one day be homeless in the first place? Get jobs in film, lose a job in film, end up becoming a cyclist, go rollerblading at 38, and who knows what I'm gonna do next week, next month, next year. I might have my screenwriting career. Assuming there's screenwriting going on. We still have a strike. I support the strike all the way. But I'm still in training writing, and I love it. I'm going to keep doing it. So anyways, I'm going to get moving now. So consider riding a bike, everyone, or get some active mobility if you can. Meaning rollerblading, skateboarding. I want to get a longboard. That's the other big thing I want to do for the street riding, not surfing. Maybe that's someday. I don't know. I'm not as enamored by going in the water. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think. Click like, subscribe. Let's make this an incredibly popular video for people to watch with their families and their loved ones.